Goodbye, everyone. It is Bizarro, and I am here with a special edition of Bizarro Style for a December preview of everything that's coming up for the month of December for DC Legends. Before I get started with that, I actually wanted to give two shout outs. The first is to Silver Fox of United as One. If you don't know Silver Fox, he's a heck of a nice guy. And he is the one who is responsible for all the graphics that you see that are the thumbnails of the videos I have on my channel. He's done great work for me and I really appreciate it. So big shout out to Silver Fox. The other shout out I want to give is to Superhero Review. If you are new to DC Legends, you may not know what Superhero Review is, but when I was coming in as a player, Superhero Review was where you went to find all the information out for the new month that was coming out for DC Legends. So now that I'm sort of taking that over for this month, I wanted to give a shout out to him because he's really the one who paved the way for me and others to be able to do videos like this. So with that being said, let me get into what we have coming this month that was just announced from DC Legends. And that is our new characters is what I want to start off with. And part of the reason I wanted to do this video for the new characters is because these are characters I have been asking for a long time. And I realize there may be some people who are not excited about these characters, but hopefully the fact that I'm excited, you'll be excited that I'm excited, and maybe you can get some energy from me indirectly. So starting all the way back, I went back and looked at my posts, and starting all the way back in December of 2018, I started making requests for Ultraman and Owlman. And I looked at all my posts going forward from December, and there were a couple months where I tried to make more predictions of who I thought would be coming out as opposed to who I wanted. But every subsequent month, with the exception of a couple, I made requests for Ultraman and Owlman. So it's a rare thing for me and a real treat to actually have the characters that I requested be put into the game. So if you're not familiar with Owlman or Ultraman, these are versions of Batman and Superman from Earth 3 in an alternate reality. And actually, some of the better stories that I've read in the DC universe involve Owlman and Ultraman. And if you've never read the Forever Evil trade paperback or the hardback edition of that Forever Evil series, I highly recommend it. It is a really good story. And in the story, the crime syndicate, which is made up of Ultraman and Owlman, among others, are the primary antagonists in that story. So they're really good additions to the game, in my opinion. So let's get into each one of them and talk about what their abilities will be. All right, let's start with Owlman or Thomas Wayne Jr. If you're not familiar with the lore of Thomas Wayne Jr. from Earth 3, Thomas Wayne Jr. is actually the brother of Bruce Wayne, the son of Thomas Wayne, of course, as a junior. And in that reality, Bruce Wayne and his mother are killed, and Thomas Wayne Jr. ultimately takes up the mantle of Owlman. So his superpowers are, his basic is the Talon Strike, which is damage to an enemy, and he can't miss, which is one of the things that I'm very excited about, and I'll talk about in a second. Apply 2 evasion downs, which last 2 turns, and a legendary ability that on a critical hit, he will apply 3 chance ups that last 2 turns to a teammate, to all teammates actually. His second move, Hunter's Preparation, gain 4 hit chance ups, which last 2 turns, 4 crit chance ups, which last 2 turns, and 15% turn meter up. He also gains 4 critical damage up that last 2 turns if there's an evasion up on the enemy team. And the legendary ability, 50% chance to apply the same amount of buffs to a random ally. So you're starting to get a picture of what the purpose of Owlman is. The third ability, Darkest Night, damage to an enemy, 20% plus 20% damage per evasion up on enemy team at a maximum limit of 10. And the legendary ability of use Darkest Night on random target when an ally misses an attack. So the fourth move, Double Down, when teammates deal a critical hit on their turn, they gain 25% turn meter up and 1 critical chance up that lasts 1 turn. And the legendary ability is that when Owlman gains the same amount of turn meter, gains the same amount of turn meter up. And then finally, Wide Vision, which is also a passive move like Double Down. At the start of each of your allies' turn, they gain 2 hit chance ups, 2 turns for teammates, 3 turns for Owlman, and 3 critical chance ups, which last 2 turns for teammates and 3 turns for Owlman. Excuse me. And the legendary on that ability is at the start of the battle, apply 4 agility ups that last 2 turns to all allies. And then they show his stats, a strength rating of 1,821, agility 1,498, stamina is 1,272, intelligence of 1,368, HP of 19,466, and a speed of 87. And then they show all the bonuses you get for gear and upgrading the character. So, one of the reasons I'm so excited for Owlman is that I am not a fan of evasion tunes. I really can't stand the idea of characters missing each other. So any tune that is a direct counter to evasion tunes, I'm very excited about. The other reason I like this kit is that Owlman is not only helping himself to deal with evasion tunes by giving himself hit chance ups, he's also providing them to his teammates. And also the fact that his basic can't miss and that he applies evasion downs. Again, I think this makes a really exciting kit, gives himself turn meter up, which I think will be really beneficial. And in a way, this kit is very similar to Steppenwolf. So my one concern with this kit is that whenever you're giving out that many buffs to teammates, obviously the big concern is somebody like Wonder Girl removing all those buffs before you get a chance to use them. But we'll see how he pans out as a character. I am very excited for him. So the other new character for the month is Ultraman. And if you're not aware, there is an interesting dynamic between Owlman and Ultraman in the comics, in that Owlman is actually cheating with Ultraman's wife, who is Superwoman, or the Earth 3 version of Wonder Woman. So there's an interesting dynamic there. And Ultraman actually knows that he's cheating, but Owlman has dirt on Ultraman that he threatens to use if he does anything about it. So interesting dynamic there. So let's get into Ultraman and what his superpowers are. So his base move is Ultra Strength, which is special damage to an enemy. If Ultraman is debuffed, he will transfer 3 debuffs to the target of Ultra Strength. Otherwise, it's plus 50% extra damage. And then the legendary is that if Ultraman is debuffed, he will transfer 3 debuffs to the target. Otherwise, it's 5 critical damage downs for 2 turns. So in total, it looks like he could transfer up to 6 debuffs back to the target, which might be a good counter for characters like Man-Bat and bleed characters that are out there right now, which we just did a video on last night. Second move, Kryptonite Recharge. Gain Taunt for 2 turns, 3 Intelligence ups for 2 turns, 4 Stamina ups for 2 turns, and 4 Mends for 3 turns. With the legendary upgrade being that if Ultraman's HP is below 50%, you gain an overheal. So this is a similar move to Superman's taunt, but he's gaining some different buffs on his taunt, and he does not have any damage immunity. Ultra Vision is special damage to all enemies with a legendary ability of 25% chance per enemy alive to apply buff immunity for 1 turn to all enemies. His fourth ability is I'm getting all tongue-tied. His fourth ability is a passive ability called Sadistic Delight, which is when an enemy dies, it resets the cooldown of Kryptonite Charge, and the legendary ability on that is also gain 3 mends. So he does have a way of healing himself much the same as Superman, but not in the same exact way. Although he can gain an overheal through Kryptonite Recharge, he also has the ability to mend himself. And then finally, another passive ability is if a teammate is debuffed at the end of their turn, 75% chance to transfer 2 debuffs to a random enemy. Transfer 2 extra debuffs to a random enemy if the teammate is a villain. So they're really pumping up the idea that Ultraman is a villain coming from the crime syndicate and wanting to work with other villains. And then finally, the legendary is when Corruption Transfer activates, Ultraman uses Ultra Strength on a random enemy if his teammate is a villain. So that's an interesting one there because this will affect how you create teams with Ultraman and who you pair him with, because you get that sort of extra bonus there. So Ultraman's strength is 1242 base. His agility is 1619 base, stamina 1468, intelligence 1636, HP is 26,426, and a base speed of 85. And you can see that those are just base stats. You can obviously get them higher through upgrading the character. So I am excited for those characters. And I think they're going to be good additions to the game. I'm excited for them. And I am biased. I'll admit my bias because I had requested those characters for so many months. So let's get into who the reworks are. So the reworks, as of the recording of this video, have already been released. And the reworks are Joker Clown Prince of Crime and Lex Luthor Survival Support Suit. And I know these are 2 characters that a lot of folks, particularly Survival Support Suit Lex, that people have been waiting for a long time. Poor Survival Suit Lex he was really left in the dustbin of useless characters for a long time. So let's quickly talk about the reworks. So for Joker, his base move, Biff. Special damage to an enemy, apply 2 intelligence downs for 2 turns. Apply 1 additional intelligence down for 2 turns for each bleed on any hero for a maximum of 5. And the legendary ability is plus 100% critical chance if the enemy is bleeding. So what's interesting about that base move is that it has the ability to make him have great synergy with both Harley Quinn, which would make sense, Mad Jester, because she does apply intelligence downs on her AoE, and it's going to help him fit into the bleed meta that is slowly developing in the game right now. Second move, Joker Toxin, light special damage to all enemies, apply 3 bleeds that last 3 turns on enemy team, and enrage 1 enemy. The legendary ability gain 40% turn meter up. So again, you see that he can be combined with other bleed characters. Third move, Acid Humor. We can combine, sorry, got a little off track. Acid Humor, heavy special damage to an enemy, plus 100% critical chance if an enemy is dead, plus 150% critical damage to a bleeding target, which is a lot, with a legendary upgrade available of apply heal immunity for 1 turn. Fourth ability, the Killing Joke, gain a medium overheal if an enemy dies, with a legendary upgrade of when Joker dies, apply 3 bleeds for 3 turns on all enemies. And finally, pushing the right button, 60% chance to apply 2 intelligence downs for 1 turn, and 2 bleeds 3 turns to one of Joker's targets when he attacks. I think that should say when he is attacked. And legendary, use Biff on bleeding enemies that damage Joker. Oh, excuse me, that's the one I was looking for, is that legendary ability where he applies it to the enemies. So sorry I butchered that one so much. So his stats: a strength of 1597 base stat, agility 1349, stamina 1338, intelligence 1686, HP 20,127, and a speed of 68. So that's the kit for Joker. I have heard so far this is a nice improvement. I do not have mine personally upgraded, so I've not been able to test him yet. So let's move on to Lex Luthor Survival Support Suit. One of the things that was surprising about this rework is most of the characters that had 4 abilities in their original kit, when they were reworked, they had a 5th ability usually added, but that was not the case for Survival Suit Lex. So, first ability, hands-free security, heavy special damage to an enemy, purge 4 buffs from the enemy with a legendary upgrade available of apply buff immunity for 1 turn on the target. LexCorp Nanomeds, apply 4 speed up for 2 turns and light overheal to all enemies with a legendary upgrade of purge 2 debuffs and apply 20% turn meter up to all allies. The Metahuman Deterrent, heavy special damage and 60% turn meter down to an enemy. And this ability has 2 legendary upgrades available because when the character only has 4 abilities, one of those abilities will have the availability of 2 legendary upgrades. So the first legendary upgrade is apply silence for 1 turn on an enemy, and the second is call assist. And then finally, LexCorp Repair Bot, all allies gain and medium overheal and 2 intelligence up for 1 turn if buffed, with a legendary upgrade of plus 50% critical chance for 1 turn and 10% turn meter up to all allies. So base stats for Lex Luthor's Survival Suit: strength of 1358, agility 1517, stamina 1399, intelligence 1692, 20,743 hit points, and a speed of 53. So he is a very slow character, remains slow, although he can get some turn meter up, which would help from his own abilities. So those are the reworks for this month. Hopefully that helps you understand their abilities. And so moving on to sort of what's going on in the rest of DC Legends for this month. So the PvP completion bonus this month will be Yellow Lantern Sinestro. So in other words, every time you can clear a board, you will get 7 pieces of Yellow Lantern Sinestro, which for me is a little disappointing. This is a character that's been been around for a long time and is easily farmable in the game. Right in the first heroic node. So that's a little disappointing. Looking at the PvP tournaments that we'll have this month, the first one will be Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime, from December 2nd through December the 9th. Then the next one will be Big Barda, Greatest Warrior of Apocalypse, from December 9th through December 16th. Then Survival Suit Lex from the 16th of December through the 23rd of December. Then Connor Kent, who is just the Siege character this month, will have a PvP from the 23rd to the 30th. And then the month will conclude with a PvP for Jessica Cruz from the 30th to the 6th. There's going to be 2 showdown tournaments this month, and they both reward Siren. And, again, I know I hate to complain, but I am a longtime player, and although I'm no whale, Siren is a character that's been available very widely from the red alerts for a while. So I know personally I won't be participating a lot in the showdown tournaments. However, you do have Aquaman Rider of the King Tide as the board clear. And those showdown tournaments, the Legendary Showdown will be between December the 12th and December the 15th. And the Heroic Showdown will be between December the 26th and the 29th. There's also 2 Blitz tournaments this month. Those are the ones where you can earn gold. The first Blitz tournament, starting on the 6th of December, will be the Aliens Blitz, where you can only use Aliens characters, and that'll conclude on the 8th. And then the second one will be a female Blitz, running from the 20th to the 22nd of December, where you can only use female characters. And then finally, you have the monthly Siege tournament. Ultraman is the Siege character for this month, which means that Owlman is going to be your free character. So Owlman will be the 2 10-day events this month, running from the 7th to the 17th of December and the 21st through the 31st of December. There's also a 6-day challenge for Beast Boy, where you can get fragments for him. And then finally, the team challenge will be How Mr. Freeze Stole Christmas, which will award you Mr. Freeze fragments from the 14th to the 20th of December. And again, they just did Mr. Freeze as a board clear a couple months ago, so I'm not sure, other than the Christmas theme, why you would have Mr. Freeze in there when he was available so recently. But if you don't have him, happy hunting. I'm glad you'll get the fragments that you need. And you can see the list. They should release a list of all the characters that you can use in the How Mr. Freeze Stole Christmas event. So that's everything that is coming up for the month of December. I am personally very excited about the new characters. I am going to try to give the reworks a little bit of a spin out in the battlefield and see how they work. So let me know what you think. Are you excited for the new characters? Are you excited for the reworks? Do you like the tournaments that are coming up? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I ask, if you don't mind, please subscribe to my channel. Give the video a thumbs up. And I will not see you next time on Bizarro Style.